What is going on, and welcome back to another episode of I Coach Nutrition Radio. I'm your host, Justin Murphy. I have my Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition from Texas Women's University here out in Denton, Texas. I also have several certifications: Precision Nutrition, Girls Gone Strong. I'm also a certified personal trainer. Done pre and postnatal certifications. Done functional movement screen, certified in CrossFit, competed, coached in CrossFit, have been in the nutrition fitness field now for 10 years, have worked with literally thousands of clients one-on-one, both in person as well as online. And I'm coming onto the podcast today to answer another question that is coming from my private Facebook group family, our community here, which is all around the subject of how to eat enough protein. This is a struggle that so many people have, both women and men. And so I'm going to try to give some useful tips here that hopefully can help to make it easier to be able to eat an adequate amount of protein. So first off, we've got to define what is an adequate amount of protein, right? The easiest way to think about this, and a very general recommendation here, would be to take your weight, your current weight, or if you're somebody that has, weight to lose, right? I'm not talking just like, 5 pounds or whatever, but like if you have a significant amount of weight to lose, you have 50 pounds to lose, 100 pounds to lose, whatever, right? Well, then you're actually going to want to go off of your goal body weight in this instance. Okay. But what you're going to do here is you're going to take your body weight or your goal body weight. Either one is fine. You're going to multiply that number from anywhere from 0.7 to 1.0. Okay. And what this is going to do, this is going to give you kind of the minimum amount of protein that you're going to need to consume, all the way up to what's optimal. Now, when we think about the 0.7, this is going to be more so for people that aren't working out and especially aren't doing resistance training of some sort, right? Now, obviously, we want you to be doing resistance training because that's part of living a healthy lifestyle. So, if you're not doing that, then that's kind of another conversation here, but you are going to want to make that a priority because that, again, is extremely important to the way that you feel, the way that you look, the way that you perform, both in the short term and the long term. Okay. It's extremely important for health, aesthetics, and performance. So for me, I weigh 182 pounds currently right now. So if I took 182, got my calculator here, multiplied that by 0.7, that is 127.4. So what that means is that my range of protein intake should be 127 grams per day, all the way up to 182 grams per day. Now, could I eat more than this? Could I do 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3? Yeah, absolutely. All right. Currently, right now, my goal is to actually eat about 220 grams of protein. So if I took 220, right, 182 times 1.25, something like that, that's about that 120 mark. Okay. So I'm sorry, that 220 mark. Okay. But my point is this, is that just because I'm throwing out this recommendation, many of you are not even anywhere near that number. In fact, most people that come to me, right, if we look at that minimum number, they're actually taking in half the amount of that. So what you need to do, well, take your body weight or your goal body weight, multiply that by 0.7, then multiply it by 1.0, which obviously the 1.0 is easy, right? It's just that number. And that's going to be your range of protein intake. Now, from there, what you need to do is you need to remind yourself, this is the goal, right? But I've got to meet myself where I am currently. So what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to weigh and you're going to measure and you're going to log your food to the best of your ability for the next 7 days. From there, you're going to take your average protein intake. And what you're going to probably notice is that you are on a protein roller coaster ride. You have some days that are high, some days that are low, but ultimately you're all over the place. So take the average, set that as your starting protein number, and start working on getting consistent with hitting that protein number every single day. From there, you can slowly start increasing that number up. And I'm talking, maybe 5 to 10 gram increase every 1 to 2 weeks, right? And as you do this, you're going to be able to slowly start working towards what would be more of that minimum, and then eventually up to what's more of an optimal range of protein intake for you. But this is building off my last podcast in that the only way to actually be able to achieve this goal is if you start tracking, right? Awareness precedes change. If you are not willing to track your protein intake, then you will have no idea how many grams of protein you're actually currently consuming on a daily basis. Just doing these calculations means nothing if you don't meet yourself where you are. For example, let's say I'm supposed to eat 182 grams of protein per day, but I'm eating 90 grams of protein per day. I can't just all of a sudden start eating 180 grams of protein per day. Why? Well, that's going to leave me feeling extremely stuffed, extremely uncomfortable, extremely bloated, right? And I'm going to be like, man, this is crazy. I can't do this. And that's if I can even actually get to that number. Most people would try to do that and they're like, man, this is impossible. I can't do this. Or most people won't even track their food in the first place to be able to give themselves a chance. Tracking's too hard. It's not too hard. It really isn't. This is something that should take 5 minutes a day. If it's taking longer than that, well, then that's because in the beginning here, there's a learning curve. And you just haven't developed the confidence and developed, the skill set of what it takes to be able to do this efficiently. Okay? But my big takeaway, your big takeaway here needs to be in that you need to meet yourself where you are. And you need to realize that no different than any other habit, this takes time. But first you have to create the awareness around what's the minimum number you should be taking in on a daily basis. What's the optimal number you should be taking in on a daily basis? What is your current intake that you're taking in on a daily basis? Meet yourself where you are and slowly start to increase that number up. So given the example there, if I'm supposed to be at 182 and I'm at 90 and I increased 5 to 10 grams every 1 to 2 weeks, let's just call it 5 grams every week, right? Well, what does that ultimately do? Going up 90 grams, right? That means that that's going to take, all right, if I take 90, right, and I go up 5 grams every single week, how long is that going to take me to get up to my optimal protein intake? Quite some time, right? Quite some time. That would be literally me going, so week 1, meeting myself at 90, week 2, 95, week 3, 100, week 4, 105, week 5, 110. You get my point here, right? This is going to take months to be able to get up to what that optimal number will be. And through the process of tracking for months, you are going to build a whole new level of awareness of how many grams of protein you're actually consuming on a daily basis. You're going to be able to build a whole new awareness around how many grams of protein are actually in the foods that you're eating, right? You're going to be able to focus on more protein-dense foods. You're going to be able to start to make realizations between lean protein sources versus fatty protein sources, right? You're going to be able to start to understand, hey, peanut butter is not a protein source. Eggs are not a protein source, right? Nuts and seeds are not a protein source, right? And some of you are listening to this right now, you're probably shocked. Like, what do you mean? I thought those were protein sources. Those have protein in them, but if you look at a serving and you look at the actual breakdown of the macronutrients, most of those are actually going to have more fats or carbohydrates in them than they are actually protein. Quinoa, it's another example. People are like, quinoa is a protein source. No, it's not. Quinoa is a carb source. There's like 40 grams of carbs in comparison to maybe 10 grams of protein for a serving. Okay, so I'm not telling you need to weigh and measure and log and track your food for the rest of your life by any means. Please don't take that as this. All I'm telling you is that no different than your finances, if you were coming to me as a financial advisor, you have to start tracking in order to build awareness. If you come to me, right, wanting to improve your finances, and I'm a financial advisor here, and you don't have a bank account, you've never created a budget, you have no awareness around your numbers, well, then good luck. It's not going to happen. Same thing with nutrition here, right? If you want to start eating more protein and you're not tracking your food, you have no idea. Like if I was like, hey, how many ounces of chicken is that right there? And you have no idea. If I say, hey, how many grams of protein are you getting in at each meal on average? And you have no idea. If I say, hey, how many grams of protein are you consuming per day currently? And you have no idea. Well, then how are you going to be able to start making these improvements? Right? So again, awareness precedes change. You have to create awareness first, right? You're going to create awareness by, number one, doing these two calculations for yourself and understanding where you should be on a minimal side and an optimal side. And then you're also going to track so that you can understand where you're currently at, so that you can meet yourself where you are, and you can slowly start progressing that number up to at least the minimum, but more ideally what the optimal number should be. And by doing this, you're going to feel better, you're going to look better, you're going to perform better, you're going to improve your overall health, you're going to improve your overall aesthetics, you're going to improve your overall performance, not just in the gym, but in life in general, as a mom, as a dad, as a husband, as a wife, in your career, all of these things, right? And let's be real, it's not just going to be from the protein, it's going to be the fact that you're going to improve your overall nutrition in general. And by understanding and seeing the value in what tracking can do, well, now you're going to actually start to track other habits too. Your sleep, your workouts, your hydration, your stress, your personal development, right? Anything that you want to improve in your life, if you track it, you will be able to change it. And if you don't track, you will not change. Okay? So I hope this sparks something in at least one person listening or watching this right now. I hope it inspires you to go out and take action and start making some positive changes here in your life and realizing that you have a lot more control over eating an adequate amount of protein than you think. And it's a lot easier than you actually maybe have, made it out to be here in the past. All right. But meet yourself where you are, give yourself grace, slowly but surely start to work on improving this and progressing. And eventually, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, you will be able to prioritize this and improve on it and make it into a habit. And this habit will improve every aspect of your life. So hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. But yeah, I hope you all have an amazing day, and we'll chat here soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.